Hello there, and welcome to my talk about fear. And today I'm on a horror film set. Well, to start, I'm on a horror film set, and do you like it? Look at the walls, look at the floor, and look at that door behind me. Look at the door behind me and look at the mess that's there. Gets imagination going. It's about fear horror, isn't it? Because the mind has got a lovely imagination. It can imagine terrible things happening. It can make your blood run cold. It can get all things imagined, real or unreal, and most of the time it's unreal, because whatever your fears, most of the time your fears do not happen. We know that through life. We've all feared something, and the majority of the time that fear has never actually happened, has it? But if you look behind me at that door, if you were on this set, would you be afraid of walking through that door? Would you be afraid of what you're going to find behind that door? What is your fear? Is it the fear of dying itself? Maybe you've just been told you've got COPD. Maybe you've got mild COPD. Maybe you've got years and years and years to go before you get to the final stage of having to use oxygen. Maybe it's the fear of being hard to breathe. After all, with COPD, it does get hard to breathe. When we get exacerbations, it can get very hard to breathe. Exercise can make it hard to breathe. Is it being hard to breathe? Is your breathlessness? Is that what your fear is? Or maybe you're in a later stage of COPD and you've got a fear of showering. You get in the shower, you get out of breath, and so therefore you don't want to get in the shower. And you don't want to get, who wants to get out of breath? I don't want to get out of breath. None of us want to get out of breath. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe your main fear is a fear of showering, or maybe it's just a fear of disability itself, or being a burden to your family or your friends. Maybe your fear is not seeing your kids or your grandchildren grow up. It's a natural fear. After all, you have been told you've got a serious progressive illness. And it's a natural fear, but believe me, when we get on to the main part in a minute, I'm going to be able to tell you that you can go for years and years and years and see your kids and your grandchildren grow up. But fear takes over, doesn't it? It can give us panic attacks. Fear, panic attacks where it makes you breathe hard, makes you breathe fast, and you get too much carbon dioxide in your body. Over breathing, it makes it harder and harder and harder to breathe. And there's a paradox here, because by doing that, it is harder to breathe. Fear, it paralyzes all thoughts. It causes depression. It causes anxiety and lack of motivation. Some people are frightened of fear itself. Are you afraid of fear itself? Is that what you're afraid of? Fear itself? Let's find out. Let's walk through that door together. Let's face our fear. Let's go there. Let's take a deep breath. Are you ready to go with me? Who said don't look back? Why? Why shouldn't I look back? Okay, well, that was a bit of silliness, and I hope you enjoyed it. But this is about fear, and it's mainly aimed at you people that have recently been told you've got COPD and are fearful because you've been told you've got COPD, or somebody that's had COPD for a little while and are becoming afraid of it. Because fear, well, it's life-changing. It can make our life much, much worse. It is something that we must overcome at all costs to lead a good life. Because at the end of the day, the COPD journey, or your COPD journey, is up to you. You've got to remember, I was talking about the fear of not seeing your kids grow up or your grandkids grow up. I've had it for 34 years. I've seen my kids grow into adults. I've seen their kids grow into fine people. So you will see, in all likelihood, your kids grow up and your grandkids grow up. Things could be far, far worse. You could have a cancer with 6 months to live. You could be paralytic. You could be tied to a wheelchair. Things could be much, much worse. You've got a slow progressive illness. COPD is very slow. If you don't smoke, then your progression will be very, very slow indeed. If you do smoke, it won't be, but if you don't. And don't take any notice of this Google rubbish. When you go on to Google, it tells you you've got 5 years to live. Well, if that applied, I'd have been dust a long time ago. I'd have been in the ground over 30 years ago, or 30 years ago. And being positive, that can make a big change to your life. It can give you a good life. It can give you a long life. Because when you're afraid, you don't do things and you don't live long. Am I afraid? No. I'm not. I never have been. I've learned to cope. But I'm not immortal. It's just a matter that I've learned to cope. I've learned how to handle it. And that is what you must do. You must overcome your fears at all costs. You must do your research. Find out about COPD. Learn all you can. Learn how to handle it. Learn how to handle your exacerbations. Learn how to do your breathing exercises. Learn how to do your pacing. There's lots of things. We've got a new life. Your old life's gone if you've got COPD, or it will go. When you've got mild, you're okay. You can just carry on. I did when I had mild. In fact, when I had moderate, I more or less carried on. I just moderated a bit. When I got to the severe stage, it wasn't quite so easy, and as I went on, things were harder and harder. But for a long time, you will manage quite well. Music, that's good for the soul. Playing music, that will really calm you down when you're feeling tense. Yeah, there'll be times you won't be able to run around the football field like you would like to with the kids. I found with my grandkids I couldn't run around with the grandkids like I would like to have done. That won't be possible. It wasn't possible for me, but you can still lead a good life and you can get to know them well. Meditation, that's good for you. Mindfulness, if you don't know what mindfulness is, Google it, because I'm not going to tell you all about it here, but that's really good for you as well. Breathing exercises, good thoughts at all costs, and being positive. They've all got their role. Distraction, that's a very good thing as well. If you're having a bad day, distract yourself. Find something to do. Keep yourself busy. You know, anything. Doesn't matter what it is. Go and do the washing up. Go and help the wife or the husband or whatever. Go and water a few pots. Distraction is very good. Keep busy. keep him busy, and a hobby, anything, crossword puzzles, reading, cross-knit, hobby like mine, photography. That's really good. Any hobby, doesn't matter what it is. That would be good for you, and it would also, if it's a hobby like photography, give you exercise, because exercise isn't running a marathon or anything like that. Exercise is anything to do. Exercise is getting off your butt and moving. That's all exercise is. You've just got to lift your bum up, get your legs moving and move. Help to run a CRPD group, such as I run, such as we strive to breathe easy. Or, you know, any other group. Moderate one. Help to moderate one. All that will keep you busy and keeping you active, keeping you positive. It means you'll make new friends. And best of all, you'll make friends that have also got COPD, because when you first find you've got COPD, you feel you're the only person in the world that has that condition. But you're not. There's well over 1 million people, several million people, that have got COPD, all to one extent or another, whether it's very, very severe or very mild. But don't worry about dying. If dying is what you're worried about, well, we all know, we all die. None of us are immortal, but the average age of dying with COPD is 83 or something like that, last I read. That is a long time, isn't it? And anyway, most of us don't die of COPD, we die with COPD. There are lots of other things that get us first, because it is such a slow, progressive illness. Talk with others with the same condition. Do research. Or join me on International Breathe Easy. I'll leave a link below. We have a group where we talk. There's lots of groups on Zoom where you can talk, and you can talk to other people that also got COPD. This all helps you to cope. But the main thing is, it means that you're not afraid. Because you can't live a life where you're afraid. Because, you know, with COPD, your life is not over. Most of us will continue to lead a long life. So don't be afraid. Fight your demons. Come out of that room that I was in. And what about the doll behind me? Oh, there's a scary creature. Goodbye from me for now, from Cardiff in the United Kingdom. Breathe easy, and most of all, be kind, and be kind to others too. Till next time, bye-bye.